Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining of Two Mindsets. I am Dee Hill, and with me today is my co-host, Dr. Pam Hooks. Dr. Pam, what's new with you?
Just trying to relax today. It's been a whirlwind weekend, with everything going on in the world today. I'm just trying to recoup, relax, relate, and release. That's it.
You've had a busy weekend. Thank you
Yeah, yeah.
for the invite to the basketball game.
Of
That was
course.
fun. I
Mhm.
haven't seen the Hawks play in person in a while, and I was impressed. I might start actually watching some basketball now.
Okay, cool, cool. The,
Yeah,
the 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 invite is always open. You ready? I'm ready.
good to know. Good to know. And it was comfortable too. It wasn't too. I'm a wide guy, but the seating was nice, and
Yeah,
we were in a spot where the people weren't too bad, except for the lady
right.
that grabbed the um, shirt out of my hand that flew to me. Yeah,
Right. And then she didn't want it after she grabbed it out your hand. She gave it to somebody else. I'm like, come on, lady.
exactly, exactly. It
Yeah.
came my way twice, and I didn't get it either time. So very
Well,
disappointed in myself.
I gotta make up for that for you. How about
No,
that? I'll
no,
make
that
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 up.
was that was all on me. That was all on me. It reminds me when Aaliyah was still alive, me and my
Mhm.
sister, we were at Lenox Mall, and I think Aaliyah, and if I'm not mistaken, LL Cool J were performing. I can't remember who else. Aaliyah looked me in the eyes and threw a Tommy Hilfiger coat directly to me. And this guy who was about 6'8" reached over me and grabbed it from me. So I'm not good at catching stuff that people throw to me from the stage or from.
I'm a say I don't think you're good at accosting people because I might have had to
You would
accost
have
them.
right, right. I was younger then. Today,
Yeah,
because it
yeah,
was a
yeah.
guy, I might have fought a little bit more.
Right, right, right.
At the
I
Hawks
get it.
game, it was a lady, so I'm not going to fight a lady.
You should have told me. You should have said, cousin, listen, go
You're
get
right.
that shirt. Go get that shirt for me.
Exactly, exactly.
Mm,
So we're gonna, like you said, it's a crazy weekend. We had
yeah.
some good stuff, and but we're gonna talk about a couple of topics that we had planned on talking about, and we're gonna just touch on current event issue as well, which is a big issue that's going on right now. But let's talk about alpha females. What you brought this
Mm.
up? What exactly in your mind is an alpha female?
I just say this. The term has evolved um, over time. Initially, I would say that most people saw alpha females as domineering, masculine in the way that they think, masculine and how they handle business, masculine in life itself. Um, those women who felt like, oh, I don't need anybody, I don't need a man, I don't need those terms, in my opinion, have actually changed a little bit. And basically because of the dynamics. And I say that is because the old stereotype of a hyper dominant, very aggressive, very ultra independent female, I won't say it's dissipated. I just think it's softened just a little bit,
Hmm, gotcha.
because of how women have evolved over time. I won't say centuries, but I say over time, women have evolved. Today, it's more of a nuance. We're more emotionally intelligent. We're self-defined. We're more self-aware. And for me, what it really means is confidence without having to perform.
Gotcha.
Um,
Gotcha.
and I say that because when I look at my career,
Hmm.
and when I first started in my career, uh, what, almost 30 years ago, you had to be dominant. You had to be bearing down, to get the recognition, to get respect in a job that was basically um, my counterpart, which was a male and he was Caucasian. So now those times have changed, people have changed. And I won't say the thought or the mindset of a lot of people have changed. It's just that times have changed and people have to change with the times.
So when you say you had to like bear down or be dominant, and particularly in the
Mm-hmm.
workplace, and you mentioned this male counterpart, what were these actions, or what was it that you found? I guess we're talking about you in particular here,
Yeah.
but what was it that you had to do to put forward that perception, I guess?
Well, so in my field, that you didn't at that point in time, you're talking, 1996, 19, from
Mhm.
1994, 1996, you didn't have a lot of African American female engineers. You didn't have a lot of African American female who were in management.
Right.
And so it was very competitive. Women automatically in that time reached a glass ceiling. Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And then to reach a glass ceiling, not based on your education or the job, but it was based on whether or not you was competitive enough to do the things that were necessary to be done. So I say that because I look at the things that I had to go through.
Right.
Um, being a dominant female, I had to learn to stand up for myself. There was no one that had my back on the job because my supervisor was that person that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That it was no such thing as equal work, equal pay. Now there is. You would have thought it would have been, but there are people who have been on the job less time that I had been doing the same job, but was making more money because they were that male counterpart or that because I wasn't a dominant female. And so I had to learn, I had to be born into being an alpha female.
So you keep using this term dominant female. Maybe can you dive into maybe on a more general sense? What does that mean
Um,
exactly?
that means, and again, we go back to that
Yeah,
time,
right.
being more aggressive in how you performed your work.
Okay.
They expected most women to be soft and seen and not heard. And so for me, I was that female that I wanted to learn. So when it came to projects, I was the one on out in the field. I was the one that was on the ground. They also looked at me because I was a little overweight and black and a female that I could not do the job. So I had to prove by standing up for myself, speaking up in meetings, taking on responsibility that other females in the office did not want because they did not want to deal with the males in the office. I took on that persona, not per se as a male, but I took that persona on as a female who was standing up for other females that looked like me
I got
at
you.
that present time and that will look like me in the future past me once I retire. So I feel that I won't say we were because when you say the word dominant, you mean somebody you think about somebody who's always talking harsh or making demands and
Right.
being angry all the time. And it was not that. All it was a female letting her counterparts know, hey, I'm as educated as you. I want to learn just as much as you want to learn. I want to earn the money that you earn. And so, how do you do that? How do you navigate in a world or in a society that does not see females like that, whether we're black or white or brown?
And of course we have to deal with um, people who are considered minorities have to deal with being considered DEI hires also. And I
Yes.
know that especially in the 90s it was much worse
Oh, yeah.
than it is now. So you had this double barrage of social insulting that was coming along with being a professional woman. So what were some of the instances, if you could give us one or two, that you had to deal with from not necessarily that particular boss, but what did you deal with that you're talking about having to push back against?
Well, well, there was one incident where there was a guy on the team, a little older guy. He was at the time maybe about 15 years older than I was. I
Right.
considered him, sir, you know, and he was my counterpart,
Mhm.
but he did not have a degree. And I'm not, and we've had this conversation before that degree does not mean that you have to have the job.
Right.
But at that time, if you had a degree, that was top tier. You
Yeah.
know, it was considered great to have a degree to come in from college and get a great job and be able to stand on your own. But to hear men make sexual jokes or
Mm.
innuendos about females walking around and that well you got to help them out, they're frail, that kind of stuff.
I
And
got you.
so even though companies took on sexual harassment um, as a risk for legality,
Right.
it was not as prevalent as it is today.
Do you mean it wasn't enforced as much as it is today?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got you.
yeah, yeah. Because I can recall being out on the field and hearing guys say things, and I'm like, dude, do you not see me standing here? And they was like, oh, you're one of the guys. We consider you one of the guys. No, I'm not one of the guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
So putting people in their place kind of got you spanked on the hand sometimes,
Gotcha.
you
Gotcha.
know. So
Yeah. So born or built, what
mm,
what is it? Which one is it that it makes an alpha female?
um I guess it depends on who you're talking to.
Right.
And for me, I think most alpha females are built.
Hmm.
I say that because it's not a fixed personality. Being an alpha female is not a fixed personality.
What's a fixed
She's
personality?
a fixed personality is something that you're innate and born with. Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
so like for me, a fixed personality for me is being kind and nice and generous all the time because I was born that way.
That's who
That I
you
was,
are by nature.
yeah, because that's who
Yeah.
I am by nature.
Yeah.
She's the result of temperament. When I say that, her environment, the choices that are made for her, the growth that she has, that's why when I say she's built, that's what I mean. And for everybody, it could mean something different.
Yeah.
And so for you being a male, an alpha female could mean something different for you as we have
Right.
conversed before.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, and I hesitate to use the term female because women have shunned me for using
Saying female.
female.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah,
but I'm
yeah,
getting my permission from Dr.
yeah.
P today,
Yes, you
so
are.
they
Yes, you
can't get
are.
on me for using that term. But
Right.
back a few years ago, there was a big talk about alpha males. So,
Mhm.
and there was pushback on that term because it came from, alpha wolves, but it was
Right.
determined that what was thought to be an alpha wolf wasn't a real thing. It
Mhm.
wasn't what a lot of people thought it was
What it
because
was. Right.
a wolf population
Mhm.
has a very complex social structure and it's not necessarily that one leader.
Leader. Right.
But when we think about people and alpha, and this is my definition, it's a person, and we'll say a woman in this particular instance, who makes her own way. She decides and directs her own life.
Mhm.
Um, when dealing with men, I would say you don't have a boss. I don't think, or I don't know that you can have a boss as a man and consider yourself an alpha
I
male.
think you can.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you can. And that's just like, I mean, that's a female. A female can consider herself an alpha female and have a female boss or a
yeah,
male boss. I mean, I have a female boss, but I consider myself an alpha female. I do consider myself an alpha female. And then I can say I wasn't born that way. I was built that way.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as far as I do think it's a mixture of nurture and nature. I
Hmm.
think that a lot of it comes from genetics, where there is a discipline that we see in certain people, and they may have gotten it from their family. Their family is very disciplined, and that nurture, that discipline continues on a work ethic that they might have gotten from their father or from their mother or
Yeah.
from their uncles.
Yeah.
They see
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
who work
I
constantly.
truly, yeah, I truly believe in that because I look at my role models.
Right,
My mother was a great role model. She believed in hard work. She believed in having her own. She believed in
right,
not depending on anybody. Um, but she also believed in being a mom, being a partner, being a
right,
sister, being there for everybody that she could be, there being a church member and a friend,
right.
and blending those two lives together.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where that nurture and nature comes in at. It blends, they blend together. And that's if that individual wants them to blend together.
I
I,
hear you.
you know,
Yeah. So can an alpha female be married and still be considered alpha?
she can.
Yeah.
I it can be hard if she's not open to change. And the reason I say that is that I have a lot of friends,
Yeah.
and most of my female friends who I connect with on a personal level, most of them are alpha females.
Hmm.
Um, and I say, I think that we gravitate toward each other because we understand um, the dynamic of that. But in the same time, most alpha women or female also want to have that soft girl era. And I'm learning, and and listen, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's not easy because I look at myself. I've been married before.
Right.
Okay. I've had long-term relationships. I'm in a great relationship now. But I look at the things that have brought me to this point where now I'm at a point where I want to be a alpha soft girl era. And it's hard. I
So
mean,
for the
it's
people who
hard.
don't for the people who don't know, explain what the soft girl era means.
Okay,
What is that?
okay. So the soft girl era is it's okay to not always have to open your own door or drive the car. And when I say drive the car, I'm not talking about the physical car.
Okay.
Okay. I'm talking about the everyday life activities that you go through.
So not
It's
having to be in the
okay.
driver's seat.
Right. And not having to be in that driver's seat all the time. We're so busy. Alpha women are so busy being that we don't know how to not be, if that
Gotcha.
makes sense.
Yeah.
We so busy trying to accomplish, we don't know when we've succeeded sometimes.
Mm,
We are so busy trying to prove a point that we don't realize that the point has already been proven.
gotcha.
you
Gotcha.
know and so it's okay to not. I tell people all this time, you can learn a lot if you shut your mouth. It's
No doubt.
okay to be quiet sometimes. It's okay not to feel like you got to be seen and heard all the time, because sometimes when you think you're doing the greater good by making all the decisions, paying all the bills, taking out the trash, or planning all the vacations, you've taken that away from somebody else that wants to do something good for you. And they don't know how to do anything for you because you're so busy
You're
doing it for
doing
yourself.
everything
They
yourself.
can't buy you anything because you don't went out and bought it for yourself.
Right. Right.
You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying?
I
So it's
do. I do.
okay. It's okay to be soft. It's so and that's hard for me because for years I've been the single mom. I've been the breadwinner. I've been the house manager. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
for you, and you're talking over 20 years, and to and I think, and I look back over time, over the relationships I've had, and I say, I wasn't a bad person in the relationship because I am the same person. I
right.
just did not realize that it was okay for me to be a soft girl
I got you.
and still be dominant at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I'm sure we can name some people in our private circles who would be considered alpha females, but so that we can name somebody who is more popular that people will know, who would you call alpha female that people might know?
When I look at Sierra,
Mm,
and even uh, the one that's married to ASAP Rocky,
Rihanna.
Rihanna, I
Absolutely.
and Tiana Taylor.
Okay. Okay.
I think they're great alpha females, but they also have a soft side.
I see. I see.
You know,
So
um, and sometimes, and even I would say Halle Berry, but I think with her, sometimes her soft side has gotten in her way a little bit.
really, so she was on my list, and because I see her as someone who is, some people might disagree with me on this, but I think that she knows what she wants out of
Yeah,
life.
she does.
And she sort of directs her own path, even though, people might say it's differently because of her relationships. But she seems to
Mhm.
be with somebody, Van Hunt, who is taking care of her now.
Yes,
And she
yes,
seems to be in a good place.
yes.
But you said it sometimes gets into her way.
Well, and that's going back to she knowing what she wants
Right.
and then not having the correct person in her life
Mm.
to help her get there. Does that make sense? And
Yeah,
so then
yeah,
she had
absolutely.
to step back in to
Right.
being that top tier female, and then people look at her, she's always in and out of relationships, but it's because maybe she was dealing with people that didn't know how to deal with her.
Mm.
And so that's why I say sometimes we get it out, not just her, not just all the infamous people that we've named today, but people in general. Sometimes we just get in our own way.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
So on the opposite side of Hallie,
Mm.
I would say would be Oprah,
Mm.
because as long as we've known her, she's been with this one guy, but never married him, as far as we know.
Oh, right.
And I would say that Oprah is definitely, um, perhaps the epitome of an alpha female, because she, I, it appears that she is in control of everything. Oprah,
Yes.
you know, she does what she wants to do. Some
Mm-hmm.
people will probably come up with conspiracy theories to say otherwise,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I think that's also a part of being an alpha anything. You're going to have some haters. You're going to have some people saying this and that about you, because if you're able to make your own way, you must be doing something
Something
devilish,
right.
right? Or
Exactly.
something right too.
Something right.
But
I just say you're doing something right,
I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
and I don't
But
think I look at Oprah and I don't think there's anything wrong with how she's moving and shaking in life.
yeah,
If she's happy and he's happy, I, I guess they're still together. I haven't really seen them together out in public recently in the last couple of years. And so, but if they are still together, it's an agreement. They love it. They it's something that they have agreed upon, and if it's working, it's working because she's doing her thing. She's doing her
no doubt.
thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Now, on the other side, I'm going to see if you agree with me on this. Hillary Clinton. I think that she is an alpha female, and she is married, and she's been through a lot of drama because of her marriage.
yeah.
But she's definitely a person who, as you were saying, a domineering person. She doesn't get shaken when she has to sit in front of Congress.
Right.
She is in control. She is definitely, um, someone who goes for the things that she wants. She ran for president. She was the Secretary of State.
Right.
She is definitely someone you would have to say, in my opinion, is an alpha female.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree from a standpoint that she's actually been able to move even without her husband.
Oh, absolutely.
She didn't use his status as a way to piggyback on things that she wanted to do in this life. And to be honest with you, that goes back to Michelle Obama.
No doubt.
I think that both of those women are an epitome of being an alpha, and based on the fact that they chartered their own life through the things that they needed and wanted to do in this life, not based on somebody else's theory, somebody else's conspiracy theory, or somebody else's, expectations of them. They set a standard for themselves, and they rolled with it. And I think
Right.
they are great examples of how an alpha female can be married and still be who she needs to be, have a soft girl, have a powerful girl, black girl magic, white girl magic, whatever you want to call it, just girl magic altogether, period.
Right.
It is what it is. And going back to that, today, and not making this as a religious segment, but we talked about Matthew today, Matthew 27, verse, I think it was 56,
Right.
how he praised women
Mm,
for being outstanding, for being who they needed to be, knowing who they were, being there for God, and being there when men walked away.
mm,
Um, and
gotcha.
so he praised women for who they were and who they are, and I think that's wonderful. A lot of men today can't take alpha females.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if it's because they feel, so I don't know. A lot of males can't deal with it. I don't know. I just don't know.
There's a lot of pushback, and one of the things I've heard, because that's a real big topic right now on
Mm-hmm.
these YouTube channels, is that men feel that when they are dealing with a woman like the types that we're talking about now, the first thing they want to do is to try to change that man. And a lot of men don't want to be
You
changed.
changed,
So,
right?
yeah. So that's one of the pushbacks I hear. Whether that's justified or not, hey, I'll leave that up to the
Well, I mean,
audience to decide.
do you think it's? Let me say this.
Sure.
I won't, and I'm speaking for myself and
Right.
for the connection that I have, and I have this group of women that we call ourselves the Millionaire Table.
Okay.
And I think we all own our own rights. We do what we do, and we are powerful women as a collective and individually, and we're all in some type of relationship.
Right.
So I want to say this. I won't say that we want to change who we are, who we're with.
Right.
I think that men get with alpha females because they like the strength that
Mhm.
they have. They like the power that when that woman walks through that door, she owns the room.
Right.
She doesn't command it. She doesn't ask for it. Her presence presents it. And so men want that. And so when you get with that female who does that for you, she's not just your eye candy. He wants her to be eye candy,
Right.
or she wants her to be eye candy. We got to switch up the things today.
I think you're right about
So then when that female doesn't see herself as just eye candy, she brings something to the table. That's the
that. Yeah,
pushback,
I got
in
you.
my opinion. And I think she wants that her partner to see him or herself. What do we look like 5 years from now?
Yeah.
If we're going to still be in this relationship, it's going good now. We have some tit for tat back and forth. But if we're going to be together 3, 5 years from now, what do we look like?
Right.
I don't want to still be your eye candy and buy me a ring and we you know, and the ring doesn't get any bigger over the years. It's the same ring that you got me 5 years ago. Or you know, I'm calling your mom, you know, mama, but that ain't my in-law, but that's my in-love. And you're
Yeah.
calling my, you know, my kids, your kids, or whatever the
Right.
case may be. But when that female brings it to the table and say, what are we doing 5 years from now?
Yeah.
Do you still want to be at your job doing the same thing 5 years from now? Are you, and then the question is, are you happy where you are?
Yeah.
You know, and
And she
most men are satisfied with where they are.
and that's the thing. And that's why I think that those conversations need to be had early on. But I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of us men, we get into we get swept away by the lust of the new relationship and we get swept into,
You get
like you
swept
said,
away, you get
she
swept
is
away,
that
you
eye
get swept
candy
away.
and she has that power. But then when she starts asking those questions, we're deep in the relationship and it doesn't feel good that now
Mm-hmm.
who we are, the mate of that alpha woman is being tested, is being questioned, is being perceptionally
Right, right.
judged. So
So
that's what it feels. It feels like a judgment.
I
And
have a
I think,
question for you. So
sure,
have you been in a relationship with an alpha female? And if so, what did that look like for you?
I've been in a relationship with a woman who was making way more money than me.
Mhm. But that doesn't make her
and
alpha female, though.
uh and 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 I'll say that's the closest thing to what I might consider an
Okay.
alpha female. And there was, this eventual, so when are you going to do this? I'm accustomed to this. Are you going to be able to do this eventually? She actually asked me, she said, I'm accustomed to getting gifts every week. And I was making great money then, but I wasn't making gifts every week money.
Every week kind of money, right? I
Right, right.
get it. I get it. I get it, co-host. I get it.
Yeah, yeah. So that was an issue, and I've heard other situations like that.
Mhm.
So I love when a woman is able to do better than me. I want everybody to succeed.
Yeah.
But we find that that is a common issue for a
Hmm.
lot of men right now when they're dating a woman who
Hmm.
is doing better than them. So it, and yeah, it might get pushed back as insecurity. I don't think it's insecurity, but
I
and
don't
it
think it's
might
insecurity.
get pushed back as, well, she just wants you to do better, and you need to do better. And I eventually did. I grew.
Mhm.
Even though we grew apart.
Right, right.
But
But she pushed you to be a better person.
no, I was already on
Okay.
that line. It wasn't because
Okay.
of her. I'm all about growth.
Yeah, of course you are. Yeah.
And but some men are not. Some men, like you just said a few minutes ago, some men are happy where they are,
Yeah.
and but they just happen to be attractive to powerful women.
Well, and hence me.
Right,
I haven't been in a whole lot of relationships. Don't y'all start to thinking crazy now. Dr. P ain't been in all them kind of relationships.
right,
But I did date someone for about 3 years. And well, I won't even say 3 years, maybe 2 years, a year and a half, and the other half was just we were just hanging out.
right.
So, and I think for me, they loved the fact that I could be a chameleon. And I say that is because I can be uh that roundaway girl,
Hmm.
you know, with the big bamboo earrings and the sneakers and the jeans and the hood and all that. But I can also command a room if I need to.
Right.
I'm, you know, I am a motivational speaker. I've been asked to do things and they like that. But then when I come to them and say, they came to me and said, oh, I was presented with a possible position to become a supervisor. I was like, oh, wow, that's great. I was like, you've
Hmm.
been there 15 years. This is cool. I was like, you're not excited? Nah, I'm okay where I'm at. I'm like, you've been there 15 years.
Right. Right.
And is this the first time? And the question to me, to them was, is this the first time that the position has been offered to you?
Right.
No, I've been offered supervisor positions before in the department,
Right.
but you don't want to do. Well, nah, I'm cool. I'm cool. I just want to retire, go get me a home,
Yeah.
and just chill out. That right there was a red flag for me.
I feel you. I feel you. Yeah, and like you
Um,
said, I think that growth is something that we all should pursue. But early on in the relationship, these things need to be discussed. Are
yeah,
you a growth-minded person?
yeah.
And you need to figure it because if you're that's important to you, you need to figure that out early on.
Listen, let me tell you something. Listen, I'm just gonna be frank. Can I be frank?
Please do, Frank.
That that BS don't work. Let me tell you. I say that because people
Uh,
tell you what they want you, what they think you want to hear
true,
at the
true.
beginning of a relationship.
I know I
So
have.
especially if you've been out 5 6 months and you all are really having a good time, you those some of those conversations you have, if they like you in the beginning, because you I don't care what nobody says, after 2 days you know whether or not you want to keep hanging out with this person. After about 3 dates and a couple of phone calls, because there has to be an interest. If you went out with this person, you spent money 3 or 4 times, you made a couple of phone calls, you know whether or not you want to hang out with this person a little bit longer, right?
A little bit longer doesn't mean for years to come.
No, 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 no. I get
Okay.
that.
Okay.
But so if me and you now what you told the lady at the game, we were
Kissing cousins, right?
cousin cousins. So you and I, we hanging out, we're dating. We done been out like a month, and I'm like, oh yeah, I like this dude, yada yada yada. And then you start picking up on stuff that they're saying and doing.
Right.
And depending on the person that you're hanging out with, they're going to start doing and saying things that they see or hear that you like.
Right.
And that's bringing the representative to the dinner table and not the real person. And they are afraid to bring the real person
Yep.
because they don't know how you're going to react to that real person. So if people would be and the whole thing, the whole premise, and this is why women have to be who they are sometimes, and that's why men have to be who they are sometimes,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we do not get the real person all the time. We don't get that real person the first 3 months into the relationship because they bring
Absolutely.
representative to the table.
No
So
doubt.
if I ask Blow Joe, hey, so look here, I really like you. I think you're sexy. What are you really looking for in a relationship? They sit there and tell me, yeah, blah, 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 blah. So over the months, I'm gonna give Joe Blow what Joe Blow just said they wanted in this relationship. Now,
Yeah.
even though in the back of my head, I'm saying to myself, this joker here, yeah, I think I can make some moves on this joker here. I can change this old cat daddy right here. No, people have to be real, and the problem is for females,
Uh-huh.
especially an alpha female, alpha woman,
Yeah.
it's hard for us to be real because people don't know how to take us.
But and you're talking from on both sides. Eventually, it's impossible to continue hiding, right? You can't hide past a
Of
few
course you
months.
can. That's why people break up because you don't lie to
Exactly.
me. It's been a year and you don't lie to me. Yeah, nigga, go
Right.
on, go on, go on, boy, go on, girl, go on.
Exactly. Exactly.
you know,
So,
and so it's just the premise of people keeping up appearances.
no doubt. No
Yeah,
doubt.
yeah.
Yeah. And we want to thank everybody for joining us. If you're still enjoying this conversation, be sure to hit the like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not subscribed. It's totally free, and we'd love to see more of you. And put in the comments what you think about what we're talking about so far. Tell us your definition of an alpha female, and who do you think are alpha females that we haven't named already. So one of the parts I think of being an alpha, being male female or whatever, is confidence. Would you agree?
Mm. Yeah,
And
yeah.
so confidence versus arrogance. I,
Mm.
I've been both of those in the journey of my life.
Hmm.
And it really takes certain situations to realize that you're being arrogant. Have you had to deal with that conflict of the two in your lifetime?
Me?
Yeah, you.
No. Um, I will say I won't call it arrogance. Um, I would say I'm confident and then
Hmm.
I know what I know. Um, but I'm also that person that if I don't know or feel that I'm not who I should be at that present time, I'm not gonna misrepresent myself. So I will say that I'm very confident. Even and my coworkers say that they think that I'm more confident now than I was about 4 years ago.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, and you're supposed to be. You're supposed to grow. You're supposed um, to make those changes. But I don't know if I would say arrogant. Well, is arrogant and cocky about the same thing?
I think cocky is a like a step below arrogant,
Arrogant, yeah,
perhaps.
and so I would say I've been cocky before,
Okay,
and then cocky means different things to different people.
that's right. That's
So
right.
so the person that I'm dealing with, for them, cocky means I'm trying to be smart. I'm being a smart ass. Excuse my
I
French. I'm
got you.
being a smart butt.
It's all good.
But for me, cocky means that um I know my stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't come to work every day, or I don't go to these meetings every month, or I don't speak at these engagements and not know my stuff.
right.
So that's a difference for me. I won't call myself arrogant, and I've heard some women who I consider alpha women say, "Oh, you do you," and I know I'm a do me because I know me. I got me. For me, that's arrogance.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
let me tell you, you know a lot of the story, but you might not know some of the details. So
Hmm.
when I was in high school, um, I had crooked teeth. I I wore glasses. I had nappy hair. You
But you
know,
was still my cute button, though.
some people said I was still cute. You know,
Yes.
girls still like me. And when I went off to college, you know, I still had the crooked teeth and everything, and the thick glasses. But I got a job and started making my own money, and I got braces, and I got contact lenses, and I grew the hair out. I had the dreads,
Yes,
and
you
nothing
did. Little sexy thing, you.
nothing makes a man feel better than the attention of women, and
Mm-hmm.
I got plenty of it. And I think I went from I went from having zero I got went from having zero confidence.
Uh-huh.
I think it shot me into the arrogant landscape.
Mm-hmm.
I was feeling myself, you know, because like I said, older women were after me, and it was just I didn't even have a real girlfriend in high school and middle school. So this was, you know, I was all of a sudden the man, in my opinion. You know, and some people
You
say, "Oh,
were. I
boy, you weren't
watched you.
nobody."
I watched you. I watched you.
But there's nothing better than coming from having no women to having women all over you all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
so, but it wasn't until I build my skills, you know, that I became confident. And, you know, you started making money, and you become focused on building something, you know, and having something where people look after you, or seek you for your skills. That's where the confidence comes from. Like you said, um, that certain attention, such as that, from people who want to be with you, that can cause you to be arrogant. So, what's the difference between confidence and arrogance for those who might? So, I'd say that arrogance gives you a sense of superiority,
Mm.
whereas confidence gives you, it might also be superiority, but it's a knowledgeable superiority. You know that you can do and you can be the things that you're claiming to be. Whereas when you're dealing in arrogance, there's this defense mode where you need to protect yourself.
Mhm.
Um, it's more ego than anything else. So,
Mhm.
um, and you learn to protect yourself from being arrogant, regardless of what it is that you're capable of.
I could see arrogance as being a false perception,
Mm,
um, because it's not built on what you know, it's built on what you think. And it's built on an emotional feeling. It's built on something that's built up on the inside of you, a feeling,
mm,
um, not something that you know, but something that you feel.
gotcha.
So sometimes that could be a falsehood. Your arrogance could lead you into a false perception of who you are, where you're going, and what you're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're all susceptible to
Yeah,
arrogance. You
yeah,
know, you make it a certain way in life, and it's easy to get the big head.
yeah. I want people, anybody who knows me and is watching this thing here, if you know me and if you think that I've been arrogant, if I've ever shown arrogance, DM me and let me know the time and the place because I'm a person of correctiveness. I want to be, I want to figure out where and what happened and what was I going through.
So you feel that arrogance is something you need to apologize for or correct?
Sometimes I do because,
Mhm.
um, and it just depends on the room you're in.
I
When I
got
say
you.
the room you're in, your surroundings, because sometimes arrogance can make you seem like a straight jack behind. Um, it can make you seem like you are above everybody else and people are beneath you,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you walk around with this thing on your shoulder like you all that and 10 bags of chips and ain't got but $2 in your wallet. So you don't have to be arrogant. You can be confident and people don't have to know. I think, like I said, arrogance is that falsehood because arrogance gives people the perception that you are all of that or you
Yeah,
think that you're all of that.
I got
Confidence says that you own who you are.
you.
You've earned who you are.
No doubt.
That's my perception.
No, I like that. I like that difference. That is something I can agree with for sure. For sure. So, last thing we want to touch on is the day before yesterday, or in the middle of the night, perhaps,
Mm-hmm.
United States and Israel attacked Iran. So
Mm-hmm.
we want to send our prayers and positive
Yeah,
thoughts to the
yeah.
soldiers who are caught up in this. Iran has counterattacked and they're attacking some of the military bases and that we have in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what? How closely have you followed this, and any thoughts on what's happening?
Well, I last night, I guess maybe about 10:30, I watched um the news and they actually showed the missiles hitting Iran and then hitting the Ayatollah's compound.
Hmm.
And then they showed the school where the girls were, and I think that the girls were killed or the students were maybe killed. Some were killed and some were hurt. And it was in the daytime. It was supposed to be. It was considered a surprise attack.
Right, right.
Um, I don't know. I just because I don't want us. I don't want to get into this. Oh, I don't know. I just feel that and the president made a statement. He said, I'm going to do a beautiful, this is going to be a beautiful, I'm going to do a beautiful thing for Iran after this.
So
I don't know
you
what that
know,
means. What does that actually mean? And then
so just
and
go
then
ahead.
said to them, go take over your country and make it what you want it to be.
So just like with Venezuela, which we
Mhm.
invaded back in January,
Right,
there are sects of people who want their government to be overtaken or to
right.
change. And so what President Trump sees himself doing is siding with those people
People,
and,
right.
and helping them to get the governments that they want. Of course, with Iran, it's about the nuclear program also,
Right.
which some people say that they weren't pursuing any further, but the United States and Israel says that they're still pursuing it, and so they've tried diplomacy. Diplomacy does not appear to be working, so this was the only way that they saw forward. The Ayatollah Khamenei,
Commonly.
however it's pronounced, and
Yeah.
I want to put some respect on that.
Yes.
It was said that he was killed, but Iran is saying that he's not dead. You know,
Mm.
which is something we see often
All the
whenever,
time. Right.
yeah, whenever we attack these countries or someone else attacks these countries. So it's just another war, and we were looking for peace with this president because he promised us peace, but you can't promise peace on this earth. You know
Yeah.
it,
You can't. You
and
can't.
so it's going to be interesting. It's expected to last at least a few weeks, and I wouldn't be surprised if it lasted longer than that.
Yeah. So
Whenever these things happen or quick, we always learn something about these other countries too. So
okay, so what did you learn? What did you learn?
I was watching a reporter in Qatar. Some people pronounce it Qatar,
Hmm.
but Sunday today is considered the first day of the work week. So I didn't know that. So they were telling the people to stay home from work and the schools are closed. So,
Hmm.
but I did not know that there it's the first day of the work week,
Hmm.
and they're doing that there because there is a military base in Qatar,
Right.
and that's a U.S. military base. So
Right.
that was something I learned about their work week.
Yeah. And the first thing that hit my mind was, man, I just came back.
From where? Tell the people.
Well, from India, from
Right,
Dubai.
right.
And I was like, that could have easily went sideways.
Ah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
it
exactly.
could have easily went sideways.
Yeah.
So I don't know what this will bring for Iran and the U.S. I know that these are going to be some challenging times.
Yeah, yeah,
And so, what does that mean for us economically? Um, I think, and we war has been a part of the world since it began.
right.
So, but what does that mean for us in a standpoint of economics?
Historically,
Yeah.
whenever there's been a downturn in the economy, a war has been the solution for bringing about an economic boom.
Mhm.
It brings about the need to have people go to work
Yep.
to
Hmm.
build the machinery of war, and companies usually have an upturn during war.
Hmm.
So it can be an economic boom for the country.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
My
We'll
worry,
see.
of course, is with our soldiers, that they're
Yeah.
put in harm's way for another country. But in the United States, we consider ourselves the caretakers of the world. And when we send our kids to the military, that's one of the risks that we take.
Saying that, I mentioned this yesterday to somebody. Um, we send ours, we draft ours, but the other countries, they don't, they don't do
Well,
that, do
you,
they?
you're using the term draft. We don't,
Well, I mean, not draft, but years
well,
ago, you was drafted into the
right.
military. There was
I
no
know
option.
with Israel, my understanding, if it hasn't changed, everybody spends a
Just
certain amount of time.
time in the military.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you could say that we're fortunate on that behalf. If you don't want to go to the military, you don't have to. And everybody. all of my uncles, including your father and my
Mm-hmm.
dad, on both sides of my family,
Right.
and both of my grandfathers
Right.
were in the
The
military.
military. Right.
Then
And I guess
my
I said,
generation didn't have to
yeah,
go to the well,
didn't
we
have to
chose
go.
not to. Right.
And I guess I said that to say, um, I don't know if it's for them because they have to spend some time in the military.
Mhm.
Their mindset is that they are representing their country. They do whatever they have to do for their country. Um, strapped down, whatever
Right.
for the country. Um, but we don't necessarily have to do that. We don't have that mindset.
Yeah. We're very
We don't
fortunate.
have the mindset that I'm gonna put something on. I'm gonna put on that armor and I'm gonna just go stand out in the street and make an example. We talked about at work, we talked about the lady, excuse me, who set herself on fire
Mm.
for her country as a statement.
Yeah.
She, you know, and so we don't have to do those things, and we're bombing a country who their mindset is they die for their country every day anyway.
Right.
Um, I don't know if it's, and I know, and like you said, he's calling himself helping the ones that has the same mindset as his, you know, possibly getting rid of the Ayatollah because of his beliefs and whatnot. But I don't know. It's gonna evolve one way or the other. We're
Yeah.
gonna see some changes over the next couple of weeks.
Right.
Um, I hope it doesn't go past a couple of weeks. I don't know if we could sustain that.
Yeah. I would say it's sustainable. We've seen it before. It's
Hmm.
just going to be about. I think it's going to be up to Iran how
Yeah.
long it lasts.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You wanted to end on Black History point.
Yes. So, yesterday was the last day of Black History Month. Um, and of course, Black history is everybody's history for me.
I
Um,
agree.
but I wanted to ask a question. Just I have a trivia book,
Okay.
and it's all about Black history. So I think one of the questions was which organization, because you're a big reader,
I am. Uh-oh.
what organization did W.E.B. Du Bois help found in 1909?
So you see that man right there? That's
Uh-huh.
W.E.B. Du Bois. Um, I'm going to say the NAACP.
You are correct.
Mm.
You are correct. And before we hang up, before we leave, tell the people who W.E.B. Du Bois was. Tell us who he was.
Without W.E.B. Du Bois, I think there would not have been a Martin Luther King or a Malcolm X.
Right.
He was true. Um, what's the word I'm looking for? He was for Black people. I'll say that.
Mhm.
Looking at him, you could tell he wasn't purely Black. He wasn't
Black.
as dark
Right. He
as me.
wasn't, yeah, he could have
But
been called mixed.
yeah, he started or was a part of the Talented Tenth, and uh, his thing was improving the position of Black people. And
Mhm.
I'm not prepared to really talk about his
I know, but I just
biography.
want you to give a
But
little
yeah,
spiel.
yeah. Anybody who cares about Black history needs to study W.E.B. Du Bois,
E.B. Du Bois.
and you'll be impressed with the things that he did and what he's responsible for.
Yeah.
He and Booker T. Washington,
Washington.
they were uh, contemporaries, and they had competing theories about what was the best way to push Black people forward.
Hmm.
Booker T. Washington, who of Tuskegee fame, was
Yeah.
more into um, getting us into um, the vocational arena. Um, commonplace jobs and being of the working hand,
Right.
or the blue collar work was what he wanted to push us into. Whereas W.E.B. Du Bois saw us as having the ability to be brilliant people and to um, be in the educational sector and to lead industry and to
Yeah.
be
To
on
be
the
command our own things.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
And I think both of them were right. We needed both of those
Yeah.
pushes. And so yeah, definitely if you're into Black history, if you want to know more and you're not familiar with Mr. Du Bois, and it is pronounced Du Bois,
Voice.
not Du Bois,
Right.
which some people mistake,
Right.
and he stated that himself.
Yes.
So you definitely need to study W.E.B. Du Bois.
Voice.
Yeah.
All right. Yay.
All right.
Thank you for the educational segment.
I thought it was going to be tough.
No, 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 no.
All right. Well, we want to thank everybody for joining us. Again, if you enjoy these conversations and some of the interviews that we're doing, with more to come of those, please subscribe. Again, it's free. I know some of our older generation think you have to pay, but it's a free podcast.
Yeah.
And be sure to hit the like button. Dr. P, what would you like to leave us on today, if anything?
I just want to tell our audience to tune in. We're going to have some great speakers coming up in the future. We're going to have someone from the city of Atlanta coming on. Hopefully, we're going to have some hometown infamous people come along. One of the topics that we're going to be talking about is emotional intelligence. Okay. And go ahead and look that up before the segment so that you can kind of get yourself a brisk of what we're going to be talking about. It's a great topic. And we're going to have some great shows. And if you have a topic that you would like for us to speak on, to talk about, to actually get a speaker to come on live with us, let us know by liking, sharing,
Commenting
and subscribing. So what did you?
and put it in the comments.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll put it in the comments.
There you go.
All
All
right.
right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks, Dr. P, for being here with me today. And thank you for joining Of Two Mindsets. We hope to see you all again. Have a great week.
Have a great week, guys. Be blessed.